Having been informed by our new town clerk that we have a quorum, I will now declare the meeting open. And welcome to our new town clerk, Susan Galvin. And welcome to this very special town meeting. So we have a wonderful evening and set of circumstances this evening. After 177 years, we have returned to our town's fourth meeting house. Some of you may recall the last time we were here on March 9th, 1835. I don't. You were greeted tonight, and I hope you noticed, by a piper. And the piper you heard when entering the meeting house was from the Boston Police Gaelic Column of Pipes and Drums. The Gaelic Column was first formed in 1992 by a small group of police officers from the Boston Police Department. They're an independent organization consisting of Boston police officers and sworn law enforcement officers from the greater Boston area. The Gaelic Column is affiliated with the Boston Police Department, and they are funded entirely through the efforts of members and supporters. The Gaelic Column is dedicated to preserving our heritage through the traditional music of Gaelic culture. So we thank the Boston Police Gaelic Column of Pipes and Drums. We have tonight also with us, up in our choir loft, organist Emma G. Moulton and trumpet player high school junior Ian Kelly, who will play along with the vocal quartet from our high school, Nancy Killeran, Christina Resido, Andrew Mao, Adam Hanna, who will perform for us our Star Spangled Banner. Emma? Now, if you'll all remain standing, you'll notice that when you took your seats tonight, you might have had a copy of America, My Country, 'Tis of Thee, and Emma has graciously encouraged all of us to join her and the choir group in singing along.
Oh,
Would you all join me in a pledge of allegiance to our flag as we start every meeting? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kindly remain standing. The meeting will now be open with a few words of greeting and an invocation by our host, the Reverend Holly Hoosh Gordon, an assistant minister here at the First Parish Church. Reverend Gordon.
Good evening. I'm the Reverend Molly Housh Gordon, the assistant minister here at First Parish, and I'm honored to greet you on behalf of our congregation and on behalf of our senior minister, the Reverend Parisa Parsa, who's away on a much-deserved sabbatical. So welcome, or rather welcome back. We are so honored to once again welcome the Milton Town Meeting under our roof. The practice of democracy in Milton has come a long way since those earliest days when you had to be a land-owning male and a church member here in order to vote on any town matters. According to the 1887 history of Milton commissioned by the town, in May of 1662, quote, after a united existence with Dorchester of 32 years, the residents on the south side of the river, having grown into a vigorous community of 25 or more families, expressed a desire to set up for themselves. The principal reasons alleged for this separate existence were their remoteness from the church and deprivation of religious privileges, end quote. In other words, they wanted a church of their own, and on this very day, May 7th, in 1662, they made their petition for incorporation to the general court. Although there was a meeting house in Milton well before Milton became Milton, they needed to be an incorporated community in their own right in order to attract a settled minister. In 1678, the church was finally and officially gathered, and in 1680, Peter Thatcher, as in Thatcher Street, became our first settled minister and stayed for 47 years. From that time until 1818, this was the place where Milton's town business was conducted. Then the furious theological debate raging across Massachusetts at the time led in 1833 to the passing of the 11th Amendment to the Massachusetts Constitution, which finally and truly separated church and state. The following year, the Reverend Guile left this pulpit after 27 years and marched across the green to found the First Congregational Church next door. Next time you gather, we will be on Guile Road. In the intervening decades, democracy has expanded and flourished here in this congregation and in the town of Milton. And the First Parish is proud to have contributed our part to caring for the well-being of all our Milton residents. The Martin and Swift funds, administered by our social worker, Diane Ferrari, have been providing assistance for Milton families in need for well over 100 years. Some of you may remember the Milton history lessons provided by our late and beloved Jeanette Peverly, and which are now provided by Judith Darrell Kemp to Milton's elementary school students. And I'm sure others of you have children whose musical skills have been nourished by the Milton Young Musicians program, so ably directed by our longtime music director, Imogene Moulton. Every Sunday when we gather here, a member of our governing board stands here to welcome us in and finishes his greeting by saying this: "This sanctuary is made holy by your presence." The same is true this evening, and I welcome you heartily. In that spirit, let us pray. God of many names, mystery beyond all naming, guide our hearts and minds this night in the ways of wisdom and compassion. May all gathered here tonight in this historic meeting house, on this historic date, converse in the spirit of true human kinship. May they speak the truth in love and hear one another fully. May they keep faith with those generations of centuries past and with generations yet to come. And may all that is decided here tonight be in service of the good, for our town, for the Commonwealth, for our country, and for the world. We pray in the name of all that is holy. Amen.
Thank you for remaining standing. At this point, I'd like to introduce our town clerk for the purpose of swearing you into office. Ms. Galvin.
All right. So if everybody could raise their right hand and repeat after me. I hereby swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me as a town meeting member to uphold the general laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the bylaws of the town of Milton, and the Constitution of the United States of America, so help me God. Okay, thank you.
Would the new town meeting members please remain standing and everyone else have a seat? That was a test. I think we have them all. Town meeting members, experienced town meeting members, please join me in welcoming our new town meeting members. Thank you, and my apologies. I'm a little off my game tonight, but would you all just stand for one more minute? We're going to, I should have done it earlier, but we have recently lost a town meeting member, and I want you to join me in a moment of silence for Helene Padula, a town meeting member from Precinct 11 from 1981 to 2012. Thank you. Take your seats. As you know, we continue to look for opportunities to improve our meeting, and as I mentioned at the last meeting, and maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but I would like to briefly recognize right now up front all of those who have served this town in our town meeting in a variety of capacities and have recently concluded their service. Please refrain from reacting until I'm finished. First, John Michael Shields served as a selectman from 1991 to 1997 and 2006 to 2012 and has been a town meeting member since 1974. James G. Mullen Jr. has been the town clerk from 1976 to 2012, selectman from 1982 to 1991, 2001 to 2007, school committee 2001 to 2007, and he's been a town meeting member since 1973. Thomas S. Gunning was an assessor since 1965 through 2012, and he is also a former town meeting member. Kathleen Heffernan served on the Board of Assessors from 1995 to 2012 and was a town meeting member from 1979 to 2012. Peter F. Jackson was on our planning board from 2007 to 2012 and has been a town meeting member since 2003. Thank you to those members for your terrific service to the town. These are members of the Middlesex County Volunteer Fife and Drums. They were established in 1982 toward the close of the U.S. bicentennial by Boston area musicians who wish to further explore the traditional repertoires of the regimental fife and drum corps associated with the European or American armies during the American War for Independence, 1775 to 1783. Today, they have evolved into a repertory ensemble performing martial, dance, and folk music drawn from 17th, 18th, and early 19th century sources in America and in Europe. And ultimately, the Middlesex County Volunteers Fife and Drums are about history, music, education, and entertainment. Their dress, bearing musical performance and spirit, through that they strive to offer an inspirational experience to their audiences and students, and they hope that by encouraging the individual to consider our past, we can better prepare them for our future. And certainly we're in an environment tonight where that means even more than it normally does. A much larger regiment of the Middlesex County Volunteers Fife and Drums will travel to Milton to march in our 350th anniversary parade in July, and they will be representing, and then in July they will be representing our country in Switzerland at the Basel Tattoo, a display of military exercise offered as evening entertainment. Now I'd like to recognize Linda Lee Sheridan for a few comments relative to our 350th anniversary.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, town meeting members. My name is Linda Lee Sheridan, and I am the chair of the Milton 350th Committee and town meeting member from Precinct 9. It is my honor and privilege to speak to you tonight on this very special anniversary town meeting, 350th anniversary town meeting. At our spectacular celebration concert on Saturday evening, featuring Ronan Tynan and Pauline Wells, there was a theme to the music that we heard. Over 800 people were in attendance to hear a message of friendship and caring and community. Town meeting members gather tonight to deliberate this warrant consisting of town budgets, general bylaw revisions, a request to update Milton's master plan of values, goals, and visions for the future, the Community Preservation Act, and a citizen's petition. And we are celebrating our rights as a democratic society while continuing that theme of caring and community. We've already heard about the incorporation of Milton. I'm going to share with you briefly how the town of Milton possibly got its name. I'm reading from the History of Milton, Mass. From 1640 to 1887, written by A.K. Teal. There are no data from which can be ascertained with entire certainty the origin of the name of this township. Up to the time of incorporation, it was embraced within the limits of Dorchester and was known by the old Indian name of Unquity-Quisset, or by contraction, Unquity. There are several possible theories on either of which we may suppose the inhabitants may have led to fix upon Milton as the name of our new town. One theory is that it was named in honor of John Milton, the immortal poet who was born on December 9, 1608, and died on November 8, 1675. Another theory is that Milton took its name from the old mill on the Neponset. In 1632-3, Israel Stoughton, finding a waterfall on the Neponset River, petitioned the town of Dorchester for the right to erect a mill. The town granted it with the privilege of cutting timber on the plantation for building the mill, on condition that he could construct a bridge over the river. In 1634, the General Court confirmed this grant. The mill was erected in 1633 on the north side of the river, a little west of Milton Bridge, nearly on the site now occupied by the Stone Chocolate Mill of Walter Baker. But though standing in Dorchester, it has always been taxed in Milton as belonging to this town. This is believed to have been the first water-powered mill erected on this continent. It was consequently a point known throughout the colony as a center of public resort. A third and final theory, and by far the most probable, is that the town took its name from Milton in the old country, such as was the custom of the times. Plymouth, Weymouth, Dorchester, and other towns of Old England had already affixed their names to the new towns here. I'm sure that Mr. Teal had no idea that Milton would someday be recognized as the second best town in America. But this is due in great part to volunteers who are sitting in this room today and who were sitting here 177 years ago when we last met in this magnificent hall. At this time, I would like to recognize the 350th Committee of Volunteers. Please stand if you are present. Mary McLaughlin, David Conley, Dorothy Cutler, Janet Christensen, Hyacinth Critchlow, Pat Desmond, Brian Doherty, Kevin Donahue, Kathy Fagan, Emma Jean Moulton, Beth Neville, Wallace Sisson, Joanne Trifoni, and Brian Kelly. Each of these people has a team of volunteers working with them to provide the townsfolk of Milton a year of activities of which to celebrate the rich history of our town. Can we say thank you? I would also like to acknowledge and thank Mallory Diggs, who made the suggestion to move town meeting back to this meeting place, which was the impetus of the many special activities that you are witnessing this evening. As you came in, you received a 350th decal, and if you didn't, please pick one up on the way out, and a ballot for the mayor of Milton. This is a one-day honorary title, and the winner will preside over the parade on June 9th. Every dollar raised by the candidates earns them a vote. So if you would like to take this opportunity to vote for Philip Driscoll, Jane Good, or Mike Lynch, simply put cash or a check made out to the town of Milton into the envelope, and a collection will be made after Article 3. Tonight is the final evening to vote, and the winner will be announced at the conclusion of this meeting. Your donation is very much more than a vote for the mayor. It supports the many activities throughout the year and our legacy gift to the town. In this spirit of friendship and community, and with the input of the townsfolk, the 350th Anniversary Committee has enthusiastically chosen our legacy gift theme of beautification and civic improvements. Already this year, we have celebrated our town in art and flowers and music. We have remembered our rich history with events at the Forbes House and the Suffolk Resolve House, and in honor of the Bluebell Society. The students of our schools have researched the town's history and our citizens, and you can see some of their work tomorrow evening on display at Milton High School. We have acknowledged this anniversary year with banners and memorabilia, a signature logo, and an active, very active website. Thank you to Laurie McIntosh. But there is still much more to come, and we will celebrate our individual and collective histories at the Mass Memories Roadshow this Saturday at the Milton Public Library, and of course, the big weekend events of June 8th, 9th, and 10th. I was hoping you all knew that. Please save these dates. We will have a spectacular firework presentation, parades complete with 35 bands and countless floats. And if you're sitting here tonight, people have been asking me about floats. It's not too late to sign up if you would like a float in the parade. We'll have fun family day events, concerts, a town-wide picnic, complete with a birthday cake. We will also celebrate graduates, past graduates from Milton High School at reunion events. And you're all invited to learn about our long agrarian and gardening traditions at the farmers market and other summer activities, and our equine history with the horse show in the fall. Capping it all off will be a special end-of-the-year party. So as you can see, there are countless opportunities to learn about and celebrate with your friends, family, and neighbors in this community that we proudly call home, Milton, Massachusetts. Thank you very much.
In keeping with our recognition of history and service, it is my pleasure to recognize one of our own town meeting members, Joe Manning. Joe has served our country and our town as a member of the greatest generation. Joe served in the U.S. Marine Corps in World War II. He served this town in the House of Representatives for 28 years. He served on the Board of Assessors for many years, and he has been an active, vital, and respected town meeting member for 65 continuous years. A few more thoughts. On behalf of our state senator, who had reached out to me, knew that he had state business and couldn't be here for the presentation. Joe, he's arranged with the Massachusetts State Senate to offer an official citation. Let me read it to you on his behalf. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to M. Joseph Manning in recognition of his lifelong service to the community, including 65 years as a Milton Town meeting member and 29 years in the House of Representatives. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends the best wishes for continued success, that this citation is duly signed by the President of the Senate and attests to, and a copy thereof transmitted to the clerk of the Senate. So on behalf of our state senator and the Senator of Massachusetts, Joe, congratulations. And I'd like to recognize our state representatives. You're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Representative Manning, it's our pleasure, Linda Forey and I, your successes here in the House of Reps, to honor you for your service. And I must say, what a gold star move to our moderator, to honor a World War II Marine. And it's awfully nice, as I was saying to Tom O'Connor in the back, when you have a World War II Marine still serving in this town meeting, it's a great day. So with that, it's a great day. Beyond the many accolades that our moderator has listed in your resume, you've also been a park commissioner, and you founded the Babe Ruth League here in the town of Milton. So that's something else, Joe. You've done so much for all of us here in this town. You've been one of our great patriots in this town. There have been many, and you've been right up there with the best of them. We have a citation from the House of Reps honoring you for the many things you've done, not only for our country, the Commonwealth, in this town, but Linda and I have this citation, and it states, "Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Representative M. Joseph Manning in recognition of your dedicated service to the town of Milton as a town meeting member, town assessor, state representative, and a lifelong resident of this town. The entire membership extends its very best wishes, Joe, and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all your endeavors. We're confident there'll be many of them. Given this 7th day of May, 2012, signed by my friend and colleague, Linda Forey, Speaker Robert A. DeLeo, your colleague and friend, and myself, Walter F. Timothy. So congratulations, Joe.
Joe, I just want to join with my colleague, Representative Walter Timothy, and really the town to say thank you. Thank you for your commitment and your dedication to this community that you love, and all of you for being here and doing the work that is so tiresome sometimes, but to be there 65 years, 29 years in the House of Representatives, it is quite fantastic. So we thank you again for your dedication, your commitment to this community that you love called Milton. God bless you.
Our former congressman here in Milton once said that it's great when honors are achieved and granted, that it's great to be able to receive them and be able to smell the roses. And I would like to, I am honored for this recognition of my service to this august body over these past few years. To be singled out at this historic occasion in this historic church is most appreciated by me. The work of our forebears, our past elected town meeting members of recent years, and our present membership, all have contributed to our town meeting form of government that has made Milton the second best entity in the United States of America. To be recognized for my membership, I am most honored. I want to thank the leaders of our town, the Board of Selectmen, and former Selectman James John Michael Shields, and the citizens of Precinct 7 for making this evening a historic meeting so very special to me. To my colleagues in government, my fellow Milton citizens, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Before we do that, I'd like to recognize the chairman of our Warrant Committee, Ewan Ennis, for a few remarks.
Thank you. Ewan Ennis, town meeting member, Precinct 3, chair of the Warrant Committee. Mr. Moderator, Honourable Board of Selectmen, fellow Warrant Committee members, town meeting members, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. 125 years ago, at the March 1887 town meeting, the Warrant Committee was established under the bylaws adopted that year. It is a closely fought battle as to whether Milton or Quincy was the first to have such a committee, and it would be some time before the state caught on and required it by statute. Originally composed of 8 voters of the town, the chairman of the Board of Selectmen and School Committee, and the superintendent of highways, its responsibility was to make the estimates of the sums to be raised for the following year and report in writing to town meeting. Since its establishment in 1887, at least 78 chairs have served this body. Annoyingly, the annual reports from 1887 to 1899 don't include the records of town meeting. And some 1,000 citizens of the town have spent many, often very late, evenings a year deliberating, sometimes heatedly, to determine what recommendations to make to town meeting for budget priorities and also the other non-budget articles. During the early years, the committee met at the home of the chair, the open meeting law clearly not being in effect. In 1921, the moderator appointed Annie Cooper and Elsie de Normandy as the first female members of the Warrant Committee, although it would be another 54 years before Anne Coughlin became the first female chair. In 1925, the Warrant Committee report is first laid out, scarily, in largely the same format it is today, with the first hand-drawn charts appearing in the 1930s, some of which are the same you will see tomorrow night. It is interesting reading the warrants of the last 125 years, how in some ways little has changed in the town, and yet in others it has changed substantially. Given that we hardly ever replace equipment in the town, I must remember to ask the police chief how that newfangled steam-powered patrol car we bought in 1916 is doing. From concern that not enough is being done about traffic, crime, or education, you did not want to skip school at the turn of the century, as you would face being sent to Salem for correction and discipline. To the clear excitement of the Data Processing Committee studying the introduction of a TRS-80 microcomputer in the police station in 1980. We are truly a town whose history guides and informs us, but should not necessarily bind us. The last paragraph of the Selectmen's Report of 1887 could have been written today. The town must provide for the wants of its citizens, and all should desire to have it maintain its present rank, number 2, I believe. Appropriations should be made with caution and expended with care, thereby attracting desirable people to make their homes in our town. In my last time meeting as the 78th chair, and with the moderator's indulgence, I would now ask all current and former members of the Warrant Committee present here tonight to rise. And those of you watching at home who are former members, please rise too, and be recognized for your service to the town. I would, in closing, particularly like to thank the families of those members that have served on the Warrant Committee for the sacrifice that having a Warrant Committee member in their house means. Thank you.
If you had any doubt that you were sitting in a church this evening, I'm going to put it to rest right now. Brian, are you going to do the collection? Yes, sir. Okay.
Listen, if you don't have a ballot or if you're already voting for, any contribution you can throw in here will help us make the parade even a greater parade. We've already blew the budget. We have some more things we want to throw in. So if you give us a little more money, we'd appreciate it. We can start over here at the Selectmen's table.
Brian, wait a minute. Let's put some here.
We have a 20 here. That would help a lot, you know. If you got a 20 in your pocket, that would be great. We're going to recognize the Mayor of Milton before we leave tonight, and so this is all going to help. I'll send everyone to you.
Listen, I'm feeling a little guilty. Just so you know, I just sat in this beautiful chair back here. It's much better than the chairs I sit in at Gile Road. I don't know where our minister is. Emma, can I take that chair with me? I guess not. What did he say? Okay. You're welcome, Mr. Kelly. All right, they're going to be doing some tabulating and counting back there. Let's continue on. We're actually working on Article 7, which you will find on page 22 of your warrant. All right, folks, we're a little bit past the time I originally, don't jump out yet, I saw you. We're a little bit past the time I originally sent to you. I appreciate your patience. I guarantee you we will use good speed tomorrow night and Thursday night to get through our articles, and it's still within, I believe, our grasp to finish this warrant by Thursday night. But at this point, I'd like to recognize Linda Lee Sheridan and Brian Kelly for a couple of wrap-up comments. Folks, this is important. It's not just the Mayor of Milton. Please give her a minute and your attention. Thank you.
I think we're going to ask Mary McLaughlin, Mr. Moderator, with your permission, to come forward as well. Is she ready? I hope you've enjoyed some of these special events that we've had tonight in celebration of this 350th town meeting. We're now going to hear the results of the Mayor of Milton.
You were very generous tonight, and I appreciate that. We had a couple of write-in votes too tonight, so Ronit Voigt came in last place, but she's on the ballot. Oh, wait, she's tied with Emily Innes, Glenn Pavlicek, and Brian Kelly. Joe Manning, you came in fourth. Let me ask the candidates on the ballot. Mike, can you come down, Mike? Is Jane Good here? Jane? She was going to try to make it. I don't know if she's here. So, Mike, if you come down, you're not coming down.
He's not moving.
Mike doesn't feel very well. Mike, come down. Okay, all right. So Jane's not here. So is Phil Driscoll here? Phil, can you come down?
Come on down. It's actually not down. It's across.
Okay, so come on, Phil. You can move faster than that. I saw you getting votes. People couldn't even cross your path. Okay, so don't look now. Stay over there. All right, in third place, Jane Good came in third place. We don't have I'm not going to give you the exact numbers, but I'm going to tell you who won, okay? In second place, up on the balcony, Mike Lynch. Therefore, Mike, we have a little gift for you, Mike. You got some flowers here and a bottle of champagne.
It's getting better.
Okay? And I got something for Phil. We raised over $5,000 toward all the festivities, and we really appreciate all the candidates for putting their name on the line and going out there. I have to tell you, Phil just did a little bit more. He worked it, and I want you to know something. He wanted to be mayor. And he is the mayor. So, Phil, tell the folks, if you were mayor for the day, what is the one thing that you would change about Milton?
I would change Canton Avenue to Driscoll Avenue.
Congratulations to the first ever mayor of Milton. And I hope we don't have to wait another 50 years to have another one. This could be an annual fundraising event. Town meeting members, you have probably noticed by now that we have on display here some very spectacular pieces of silver. Mr. Moderator, with your permission, I would like to invite Judith Darrell Kemp to the podium to explain the rich history of this silver.
Ms. Kemp, it's my pleasure to recognize you.
Thank you and good evening. I'm used to talking to fifth graders when they come in here, so you're almost as well behaved. Oh, better, thank you. I was saying I'm usually talking to fifth graders on the history tour every June when they come in, and they're pretty well behaved, as are you tonight. I see some people from the Historical Society who help out. Ann Thompson isn't back, and she's been doing the history tour for 20 years, 25 or so, and I see Richard Howe is here, and he's been helping out lately as well, so thank you. The kids always ask me a couple of things about First Parish. 1787, during the Constitutional Convention, Milton people built this. That clock that you're looking at is from 1787, and it still works. I mean, that is the time now. I know you want to get home. The meeting house was not always like this. It actually got picked up and moved 90 degrees. This building was picked up and moved in 1851. So actually, you used to come in the last time we were here in 1835 at the town meeting. You came in from the long side, and there were galleries all around. So the whole town could still fit in here, which is pretty amazing when you think of it. And at that time, there were only 2 churches in Milton. Now there are 17 houses of worship and organizations. So we're so much more diverse, which is quite wonderful. The silver here, First Parish has had over 300 years gifts to the town. The oldest one is from 1701. So you realize that's 312 years old. It's that one, the beaker at the end.
Which one?
Good, and he has his glove on. That's important.
Made in China.
No. It was actually Governor Stoughton who gave that to First Parish, who, of course, is notorious for having signed the death warrants of the Salem witches. So that's how old that is. We have 11 pieces of silver. There's one in the middle, which is given by Mrs. Wadsworth in 1756. Wadsworth Hill is up now where the hospital is and the police station. That was all hundreds of acres of land was Wadsworth Hill. So many of these pieces were given Tucker, other names that we know so well in Milton. The newest one is from 1856. So you can see they range from 1701 to 1856. And we do not keep them here at the church. They're quite valuable. They're kept at the Museum of Fine Arts. And every now and then they do an exhibit of silver from New England churches. But they've told us we're one of the few towns that still has our silver. And I have to say, I think it's probably an indication of Milton people, how we have come together to try to preserve our heritage. I just want to tell you one, I think, funny note as well, in connection with every dollar being well spent. In 1905, the infirmary was on the corner of Thatcher Street, and members of the church here, the women's group in the 1880s, had taken an old dormitory building from Milton Academy, and they founded the infirmary. Well, in 1905, it was torn down, and then Milton Hospital was established. But when they tore it down, they spent, I think it was $720 to tear it down, but they kept the foundation, and they reused those stones. Nothing was wasted. So they bothered to reuse the stones to build another building. That's actually the Parish Hall extension here. So I appreciate tonight that history of both preserving what we have, this wonderful heritage that Milton has, and also watching, it seems as though, every dollar that we spend. So thank you. I'll be up there if people have more questions about the silver.
I want you to tell them how, after the meeting, how they can come up, they line up on the website. Oh, you're going to do that?
Very good.
Thank you. So at the conclusion of the meeting tonight, you are all invited to view this silver. No hands, just look. And you're going to file up these stairs, and someone will show the silver to you, and you can file down these stairs at the end. The 350th Committee also invites you to join us for refreshments in the Parish Hall, which can be reached either by access down this hallway here or out the front door and across the grass to the hall over there. So we hope that you'll take some time and join us at that celebration. Thank you so much.
Now, before I entertain a motion to adjourn to move on that, I think I would be remiss if I didn't pay some homage to the history of moderators. I also was sort of moved in getting 2 histories of Milton, the names of the moderators that have been presiding here for hundreds of years. They're names of streets all around us, probably no surprise. There are some names that are even more familiar, names that we've had more recently as town meeting members, obviously not the same person, but I would, and I pointed this out to Mrs. Thompson earlier, George Thompson was a moderator, actually served several times, off and on. But lastly, let me just pay homage to the last moderator who presided a Milton Town meeting here at this church, Asaph Churchill, Esquire. And he was a moderator from 1932 through 1935. There was a hint earlier about 1835, thank you. Yeah, that would have been a long service. More than Mr. Manning. That would have been tough. There's a long history associated with when the town left this as a town meeting, did not immediately stop using the hall, look for some temporary places, a lot of angst over that. It's clear even looking at the record because right after 1835, the moderator, Mr. Churchill, did not continue, and another moderator, Mr. Ruggles, picked up. So anyway, fascinating history. Thank you to the First Parish Unitarian for sharing this wonderful facility. Look, it's not modern, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how you felt, but I was thrilled to be here. I hope you remember tonight for a long time. Tomorrow evening, we're back to Guile Road. I would now entertain a motion that we adjourn until tomorrow evening. So moved. Seconded? All those in favor? We are adjourned. Join us for some refreshments and looking at the silver.